Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Tum here, Marlon's helping me out. Today we're going to do something different. We're going to do some takedowns. Now, small disclosure, I think the best way to get into takedowns, today we're going to do some wrestling takedowns, is to watch some good wrestling channels. Yeah, I don't have a wrestling background. Wrestling is not as big in the Netherlands as it is in the United States, obviously. But wrestling for jiu-jitsu is different than just normal wrestling. We have to be aware of submissions, people just pulling guard and stuff. So I'm going to show you some single leg stuff, some basic stuff. Let's just get to it. Oops. Okay, so before we get into the single leg itself, we have to go over a few basic things. I'm not going to go deep into entries. I'll cover some, but for now, if you're very new to jiu-jitsu, you don't want to shoot with your head on the outside. Yeah, the problem with jiu-jitsu is the submissions. If my head is on the outside, it's easy for Marlon to grab a guillotine and start choking me here. Also, if I don't control his second leg, like in a double leg where I do put my head on the outside, Marlon can just spin and take my back here. Spin with your right leg, you see this, and gets my back. So my head should be blocking that. Yeah, we're gonna get to that in a second, but first let's see how we get into the single leg. Now, there's a few ways we can do this. You can shoot like you shoot for double, where your knee goes over your toes as you go to the mat. Sometimes I don't like to do that. I just like to squat down and don't go with my knee to the mat. I'm gonna do both so you can choose. Now what's very important is I close the distance for my penetration, then I get my level change, then I go in, and I don't wanna stay in line with Marlon. So if we really shoot for it with distance, yeah, I don't wanna be here and then put my knee to the mat. I will be way too far away. So I get my toes like close to his toes, and I'm gonna use this leg. So with the double leg, I would go in with this one. Now with the single leg, I'm gonna go with this one, toes to toes, as I go down. I don't wanna stay in one line, so I wanna cut like an angle. So I'm facing Marlon, and I make this angle as I go here. So I go to the side. My head is up, yeah, and I don't stand up and then pull his leg up. I'm gonna stand up with the leg, and I wanna immediately disbalance Marlon. So look at this, Marlon is not moving. If I go like this, Marlon didn't move. So I wanna cut that angle, get the penetration step, level change, and immediately start pressuring with my head high upon his chest and ribs as I lift the leg and control it. Okay, so that's how I enter with the step. You can go down on the knee, or you can just step, squat down, lift up and control. Now for the grip, there's a lot of things possible here. You can go a bit higher, you can go deeper. Yeah. What's very important in jiu-jitsu, and with the counters we're going to cover in different videos, I don't want to leave too much space here for kimura grips, kimura traps, etc. So you can go gable grip, you can go elbow to elbow. I like to go gable grip and put my elbows in. Now, another thing I like to do is control the heel here. Yeah, like in wrestling they control the shoe. We don't have shoes in jiu-jitsu. Yeah, if you control this, you can use a bit more of a staggered stance, or you can squeeze your knees together. I don't really like doing this so much, yeah, but some people really enjoy this and keeping control of the lower leg, because I don't want Marlon to just pummel his leg to the outside here and start sprawling out. One more thing about the angle, if I'm facing Marlon too much, yeah, it's easy for him to now immediately sprawl out, put pressure forward and start sprawling. You see, my weight is in front of him. That's why I have to take that angle. That's really important. So we can go from here. We can also go with some form of collar tie, or get like inside ties. I can pull him to get his leg forward and start snatching it. But the thing with pulling is, as I pull, he will usually pull back. I pull, he pulls back, and I miss the leg. We can push. If I push, I always use my rear side. Because if I push with this one, I give space for my leg. You see this? He can go from my leg and go underneath. So I want to keep this one close as I push here and start snatching for the leg from standing. If we're closer, like in a collar tie, I can also just control the elbow, slide down. Yeah, we can use upper body controls like Russian 2-on-1s as he starts going. Go for singles. There's a lot of entries here, but I told you I don't want to go too deep in entries. I'm just going to go in a few ways how to finish the single leg, some basic ways. So as we get the single leg, I want to get my angle, head positioning. Yeah, I can go to the knee, or I can just squat down, put my head pressure in, control the heel or gable grip and keep it tight. Yeah. From here, my head has to be high, guys. What happens a lot is people put their head too low. Marlon can just frame, push me down. It's very hard for me to finish the single, and he can escape. Okay. So my head positioning will be here. As I push off with this far side leg, I get this angle. I stand up. If Marlon now tries to push my head away, I'm way stronger here. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to push him away, so that gives him the opportunity to push back. As I push, he pushes back. I'm going to run the pipe, sit him down, and start my takedown there. So, if you want to go more in depth on this one, I suggest you check YouTube for some wrestlers and enter run the pipe. Yeah. What I would like to use for this takedown is my shoulder or biceps. In my case, because I grip pretty low and I want to hug the knee, I use my shoulder on his thigh to push him down. Now, if he just keeps his center of gravity on this leg, it's a bit harder for me to go. I have to circle out a little bit, like this. Boom. Yeah? The best way to create an opportunity is to first push him with my head. So let's go a bit this way. So I control the leg. Yeah, I have my angle. I first push. As he pushes back, I step out, go down, and immediately start passing the guard and controlling his legs. So this is kind of an easy takedown. My shoulder pushes. If you just raise your leg, please. So what I actually want happening is I want to push here, yeah, so that his hip just sits down for the takedown, but with my shoulder. Now with distance, if my head is too low, my shoulder will never get on top. So that's why you'll just find the sweet spot. If your head is in a good position, this shoulder will go down. I take a step, I put his weight away, circle out, and drag him down. That's it. My head never came to the outside. Now, about going to the outside, it is possible, yeah? And people always say, hey, what about the guillotine? Now look at this. So I have my single. If I put my head here in his hip, I'm gonna get guillotined. So let's play a little game. I'll get the single, yeah? Get nice my angle, catch the single. Now I'll put my head outside and Marlon's gonna guillotine me. Guillotine, boom. So I put my head away. So as I switch, my head doesn't go towards his hip, it goes more towards his knee, okay? Away from the guillotine. Now I use a different shoulder. So in the first one we use this shoulder to run the pipe. In the second one, I'm gonna use the inside shoulder. My head doesn't come here, it goes that way. As I step, drag him down, immediately start passing. Now what happens, you can control here, yeah, or you can control, if you squeeze your legs, I want you to use the outside leg to make a back step. You see what happens? So I back step on his heel, my inside shoulder goes to his thigh, and my head doesn't come near his arm, it goes away. So we're inside, pushing on his ribs. I go to the outside, he tries to catch the guillotine. Nope, leg drag, start passing. So these are two basic ways to finish with single leg, using your shoulders. Run the pipe, yeah? As you run the pipe, go down. Don't walk backwards. So this just keeps him hopping. Push the shoulder down, circle out. First push, step, pull, okay? Second one, rotate with the shoulder, turn out, and keep your head away from his hip for the guillotine. Now, next up, what I really like to do is to go to the backslide. So this angle, please. So as I come a single leg, we could use arm drag, snatches, all those setups. I'm not gonna go in depth. Could be close. We could use him on the inside to pull his leg. We can push. As we go for the single, yeah, I get this angle. Now what I wanna do is I wanna step out. You can go under, like a lock carry, like so. But it's easy for Marlon now to turn his knee to the mat, yeah, and start working out. So I wanna control his leg from turning. So what I like to do is, as I'm here, I control this heel and turn it towards me. So turn that way, please. Now the heel's stuck. I switch my hips close to his hip and make my takedown here. Yeah? We have a video on I think it's the Russian 2-on-1, where we use this takedown a lot. I think this is better because I don't end up in as a guard, I end up on the side. But you have to switch the leg, and that's tricky. So we get to the single, yeah? Control the heel, step out, and I lift this heel up with my elbow close. Now, if I try to trip him here, I'll never go down. My hip is doing the takedown. So I come close, my hip goes, and then my foot helps him as I go into side control. I think these are just some basic things for jiu-jitsu guys to watch out from in single legs. We're gonna do a different video on single leg counters so you can see the risks, yeah? And just have a nice takedown, get a good position and pass. If you don't like that, you can always just use the single leg, yeah? Block their hip, spin underneath, start attacking for leg locks here. We'll do that in the DVD. For now, we stick with the takedowns. Thank you guys for watching. Single legs from a jiu-jitsu perspective, some basic stuff. Yeah, be sure to check out the counter video. Then you will understand better the offense. Yeah, as you learn the defense better. Oos.